Hello, Lucas Nation fans, and welcome back to another exciting Lucas Chat podcast with your host Kennedy Lucas and Tairus Lester. Now, we're here back for another new season. This is season 4. Very, very excited to be talking about this Lucas Chat podcast today because we're finally back from our break. Of course, if you guys missed it, please check out the Weekend Vlog Season 6 kickoff show with your host Kennedy Lucas. You guys can see all good information that comes out. We did do a sort of a side trailer for the hit show Millionaire Listing, starring me, Kennedy Lucas, and Tyrus Lester over here, both the creators of the show, and we're very, very excited. We're looking forward for you guys seeing that show, as well as we did 2 reviews of Sniper Elite 3 and WWE 2K16. Now, every time I ask this question when we get on this podcast, Tyrus, I ask, how are you? How's your weekend going?
Everything is going good. Very excited for the new season. We're so excited. Please, again, guys, be sure to check out the Weekend Vlog Season 6 kickoff show with Kennedy over here. We did really good in the sales here. We're really good in K.L.P photography and really good for the live website. I heard that we had a 75% satisfaction rate for all the websites. So I'm very excited to been having that up. Very excited to have 75%. You know, that's really kind of a milestone. We really came far with that as well. But my weekend's going good. I'm really ready to talk about the number 1 hit anime here. Your Lie in April scores number 1 for the main website, guys. If you guys have not checked out the website of www.lucas94.winx.com/KLPE, of course, Christopher Proskin, I think he's the executive for that site. We listed up the number 1, and we're finally back to be doing a more of a number 1 hit here. So I'm ready to get started.
Okay, that's good to hear, Tyrus. Now we're going to go ahead and get started with the podcast here. Very, very excited. Lucas Chat Podcast Season 4 kickoff show here today. Now, today we're here to talk about Your Lie in April, of course. This is anime number 1 for our site of course, Tyrus mentioned it earlier, www.lucas94.wix.com/KLPE. Now, this show really gets me going. What we're going to do here is, I guess I'll read the inscription, and then Tyrus will read he'll read, the publishing and all that. Now, it starts off with this piano prodigy, Kosei Arima. Now, please forgive us, Lucas Nation fans. We're not going to pronounce these names correctly because they're Japanese names, and those are very, very hard to do. Now, Kosei dominated the competition and has become a famous child musician. After his mother, who was also his instructor, died, he had a mental breakdown while performing at the piano recital at the age of 12. As a result, he is no longer able to hear the sound of his piano, even though his hearing is perfectly fine. 2 years later, Kosei hasn't touched the piano and views the world of monochrome. Without any flair or color, he has resigned himself to live out his life with his good friends. Now, please forgive us again. Tsubaki and Watery. If I pronounce her name right, give me a thumbs up in the likes and comments description. Until one day, a girl changes everything. Kyari, I'm not gonna even try. Tairus, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name or her last name. A 14-year-old, also a free spirit violinist who also plays styles reflects his manic personality. She helps Kosei to return to the music world and shows that it should be free and mold-breaking, unlike the structured, rigid style Kosei was used to. Now, guess I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my intake of the show. After seeing the show for about I want to say about 4 weeks now, maybe a month now, this show is great. The art style is fantastic. I can tell that it's one of the newer animes that comes out. Anime is always good when anime is just coming out for the year, or if it came out 2015. The art style has to be good. Everything has to be fantastic. After seeing how the characters kind of interact with each other, I was kind of surprised. It's good to have a lot of voice actors, even new voice actors out there. as we have our list here at K.L.P Entertainment, we do have a list of English voice actors. Of course, we have a little bit of the old voice actors, but we do have quite a bit of new voice actors that come into the fray of anime. And it's always good to have new anime voice actors come out, introduce themselves, show their true talent. Um, as we review this anime now, this anime is great. It's fantastic. I actually do enjoy watching this anime, and the theme song from Goose House. Of course, Goose House is a Japanese band. Goose House is a Japanese band that kind of helped with their intro for the show, and of course, I bought the music. It is on my phone right now. I can even play it for you, but I don't want to get copyrighted. We don't want to get copyrighted for today's show. But Goose House, the theme song by Goose House is fantastic. I love duets. I love a girl and a guy kind of performing songs together, and they're doing a duet. I always do love duets. I love them. And to see that Goose House came out and kind of worked on their intro, and it worked for what it was. It worked, so it was very, very relatable. Now, of course, one of the characters, she plays softball, and of course, I do know a little bit about softball because my primetime job over on campus in college, I do work with sports such as soccer, baseball, softball. So I kind of relate in that area for that. Um, the other character, he's more of a jock. He's more of the jock character. Of course, Tairus is going to give you a little bit more insight of these characters, but he's more of a jock character. And then, of course, you have your main and your other character. Now, Tairus is going to read the kind of intro and who wrote it, who published it, and etc. Tairus?
My time to shine. Okay, so the show here, Your Lie in April, is published by Kandesha. Again, Lester and Lucas Nation fans, please forgive me if I pronounce these names wrong. Of course, it was also published in different type of magazines, like the Monthly Showman magazine. Now, the runtime was, it developed out in February 6, 2015. That's when it first got developed. That's when the writers kind of come together, and they kind of come together and they plan it out. They hire the actors, they hire the art styles, they hire the animated technicians to come in to help produce the show and etc. Now, it's directed by, again, forgive me if I pronounce these names wrong, Koyohi Ishogoro. If I pronounce that name right, give us a thumbs up. We're killing these names, Kennedy. We're killing it. Written by Takio Yakushuka, if I pronounce that name right. Of course, the music, alongside with Goose House, produced by Masara Yukiyama, if I pronounce that name right. Please give me a thumbs up again. Now, of course, the studio is A1 Pictures. A1 Pictures is one of the animes that really worked out for anime out there. Let's see if we can get a kind of a broad kind of history for A1 Studios here. Of course, Black Butler. Of course, Black Butler is in our works to becoming one of our animes that we kind of watch. Fairy Tail. We never really got into Fairy Tail, guys, but we probably will one of these days. Let's see. We're going down the list here. From the New Worlds, of course, that's the anime that we sort of reviewed and sort of got through with. As we go down the list here, that's pretty much all the shows that we have in the works for us, for what we do. Of course, A1 Studios do film productions, but none of these productions we actually covered. But that's A1 Picture Studios for you guys, of course. Of course, licensed by Aniplex of America, Anime Limited, Fuji TV. Of course, and later down, runtime was in, it was released May 15th, 2015, so it's not too old. I mean, it's about 1 year old, probably now 1 year old. The show's not really that old, really. It's still good for what it is. And I actually do want to agree with Kennedy here. I'm actually glad that there's finally new animes that get released. Of course, me and Kennedy, we're not involved with more of the older anime that came out in the 1980s and the 1990s and the early 2000s, except for Dragon Ball Z, of course, and Digimon and Pokemon and all that. But we actually started this thing around 2010, when we're still running now, 6 years later, 2016. We're having a lot of people. Now, here are the characters. Kosei Arima is played by Max Middleton. Of course, Max Middleton is one of the newer animes that kind of got out there. Of course, he played in Capellion. Of course, he played Haruto Karazawa, if I pronounce that name right. That is one of the animes that we looked at back in 2015, I want to say. It was summer of 2015. That was a very good anime, honestly. I enjoyed it. Of course, Max Middleton played in a couple video games, such as Fallout 4, Fire Emblem Fates, and Sunset Overdrive. Now, I honestly looked at Sunset Overdrive. I really didn't like the game. Hopefully, I don't have a lot of haters and hate comments, but I didn't like that game at all, honestly. On to our next character. Kiari is played by Erica Litback. Of course, she also played in Capellion, so that was kind of cool. You got two characters from a show that comes on and they star in another new show. So that's fantastic. Skip Beats. Skip Beats is something we are thinking about looking at sooner or later. Love Life. Love Life is really, really good show, and I guess we can spoil it for them. Of course, we're going to be looking at reviewing Love Life Season 2 very soon, very soon. Sword Art Online. And she also did a couple video games as well. As we're looking at this list, she played a good bit of video game characters. Now, Tsubaki is played by Erica Mendez. Erica Mendez is a good voice actor too. She also played in Kill la Kill, Love Life as well, Hunter x Hunter, Sailor Moon. It's real common. Sailor Moon is one of the most common animes that people actually watch. And she played in quite a few bit of video games, such as the Pac-Man Ghostly Adventures. She played in a lot of Pac-Man newer games. Of course, on to our next character, Ryota Watari, played by Kyle McCarley. More of a new voice actor in there.
Okay, Tairus, I guess I'll read the next half of the characters. Now, I'm just going to go skim through a couple of voice actors that I kind of sort of know. We're not going to go through every little character because we normally don't do that on the Lucas Chat podcast here on our show. But, of course, I wanted to bring out one voice actor. Wendy Lee also played in this show. Of course, Wendy Lee is a fantastic voice actor. She plays this character, Aki Arima. The mother and the instructor, she was crazy. More of a crazy, she was crazy in the show because she was crazy. Now, of course, within these shows, Wendy Lee is one of the veterans in the voice acting community, and to see and hear her voice back again for this show in 2016 is fantastic. Now, you already know Wendy Lee. If you don't know who Wendy Lee is, Google her. She started this voice acting way back in 1985 and all the way up to 2016. She's still doing the damn thing. So, Wendy Lee, of course, played Haruhi Suzumiya from the movie Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, down to the show The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, down to Lucky Star, one of our prime favorites for the show. So to hear her voice and to see that she plays these characters and she's still trying to voice act out there is fantastic. Those are the prime favorite shows that I like to watch that Wendy Lee is in, of course, alongside with Boys Be and Please Twins, and we have a whole bunch of lists that she did. But my prime favorites is the Haruhi Suzumiya series, the whole series. And, of course, with Lucky Star. And she also played Haruhi Suzumiya in the newer Suzumiya series, the The is it Disappearance of Yuki Nagito show that came out in 2015 that we looked at in summer 2015. I want to believe that that's it, but that's one of the prime favorite voice actors out there that I want to kind of give a shout out to because she's fantastic. I love all her works and all the things she does with her voice acting, and to hear that she's back in this show, it's fantastic. Um, I like it. It's fantastic. Now, of course, along with the podcast, we're going to read a couple of reviews from other viewers out there in the world. Of course, I'll read the top three reviews, and then Tairus will read the next three reviews. Now, this reviewer by Andy FMA2 published this back in November. He says, or she, but it could be he. Uh, Hold on one second. Something's went wrong with our. So sorry about that, folks. We had to read this review, and we don't want to read this out there in the public. So we're gonna go on to our next reviewer. Says by KCM64, published this back in December. This season, I had to drop down to about 8 series to watch from the previous 31 because I had particularly hard quartered in school. We agree with you, this reviewer. I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, but we're all in school, and we're not struggling, but going through school, it takes a lot to do that. But being a double music major, Your Lie in April shoot out to me from the descriptions. Why I didn't know is that I was soon to be watching a series that I wouldn't fall in love with just because of Beethoven, Mozart, and Chopin, but also because Kosei and Chiari and Tsubaki. Uh, I want to I went in expecting something good, but I got was something incredible. That was a good reviewer, and again, this show here is incredible. As we get notifications here at K.L.P. Entertainment, this show is fantastic, Tairus. As we're watching this during the week, and we're about halfway through the series, and we're gonna start our next series, maybe in June, maybe July, but um, to see that people love this show and to actually interact with the show is fantastic. And I'm never disappointed within this show. This show really kicks it off for me.
All right, Kennedy. Now the next review comes from Satsuya Dragon. He published this back in November. His head title is "I really love this anime!" Exclamation point. Now, I was trying to find something to watch on CR and thought this sounded good, and holy crap, I'm glad I've decided to watch this anime. I'm loving the colors, art, characters, the music is really good, and it makes me want to go buy a piano and learn how to use it. Love, love, love this anime. That is also a good review from that review. Of course, he brought up some valid points. The art and the characters in their interactions really work well for what it is for their anime. Within these reviews, this show's getting high stars, and they're getting 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 on these different review sites and different reviewers out there in the world. The color art style is fantastic. Of course, within this show, it does have a bit of a love story. Hopefully, Chiari and Kosei, hopefully they fall in love, and hopefully they're gonna fall in love and they're gonna become boyfriend and girlfriend. That's what we're all waiting to happen, but it's slowly grasping to that point. But when it gets to that point, hopefully they will enjoy themselves and they'll enjoy being kind of a couple. But alongside with the lovey-dovey, there are some valid, funny parts in this. I actually watched this show about the other day. I think it was Saturday when I watched the show. Was watching a couple of the episodes. The episode was funny. That episode, they had a lot of comedic kind of relations to like real world situations, but they made it kind of a comedic feel to it. And to see an anime that has kind of a lovey love story, but then has a comedy, like a romantic comedy, kind of put together, and this works for this type of anime. I like it. I'm going to read the next review here. 10 out of 10 from a girl who doesn't like shoujo, if I pronounce that right. Normally, I avoid shoujo shows like this dialogue, but I hate love triangles, the same cliches and one-dimension characters that I see in every shoujo, and even girl versus girl. Hey, that's going to happen. But so far, this show has made me fall in love with every single character that comes to screen. Now, my favorite character would have to be, I like Tsubaki. You know, she's pretty cool. You know, softball player, athlete, smart. She gets jealous when Kiari comes over to kind of talk to Kosei. She kind of gets jealous, but I actually like that character. She's one of my favorites, and I enjoy that one. I enjoy her character. She's funny to me. She's very funny.
Okay, so the last review comes from this reviewer, Judgment Wolf. The head title says, "This anime has the filling train leaving. You need to get on it." This reviewer says, "This has me looking at Toradora all over again." Toradora, I'm sorry. Toradora is another anime we looked at. That was real good anime to look at. It makes you want to feel like you're going to buy that favorite item for that special someone. I personally like it because of the pacing, the character interaction, and the smooth animation. It has a very good story so far. I hope it ends well in March. Again, to kind of react to this review, of course, interaction between the characters are also great. The pacing is not too fast. You never want to look at an anime and it just go like boom, 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 boom. You want it to be kind of not too slow, but you want it to make sense. Now, along Lucas Nation fans, as we've seen anime all over the place, we've seen it. I never really get some of the animes that we watch. Some of the animes are fantastic, just like AKB 0048 is fantastic. Angel Beats was fantastic. Hopefully, if Key's watching this podcast, hopefully Angel Beats gets back with a season 2, because I would love to have season 2. So hopefully Angel Beats gets season 2, but I mean, it looks like it may not happen, Lucas Station fans. Sadly to say, because the show came out, we reviewed it back in 2011, and it's 2016. I don't know what Key's doing. I think he is just out with their animation. Except for Charlotte. Charlotte is another anime from Key that came out. They don't have a dub yet. What are they doing with that? You know, that's a good show to be dubbed, and there's no dub version of that yet. So hopefully Key kind of gets their stuff together, because Key is one of my favorites. You know, they do Clanad, they do Air, Angel Beats, you know, shows like that, Little Busters, shows like that. And, you know, Key's kind of been out of the anime game for a while. It's all been about Madhouse and A1 Pictures and JC Staff. And Key anime, they're kind of out of the game for a minute. So hopefully they kind of get their stuff together. But some of the shows that we review, they're very fast-paced. Not too fast, but just right. Some of the shows are kind of slow that I've seen that we discontinued because the shows are super slow. That makes you want to just go to sleep. And I never really like to look at an anime and it's too slow. You don't get it. You've fallen asleep. You're bored. You want to watch something else. And I had that urge for the past couple weeks. You know, I'll be honest. Some of the shows that we reviewed out, and some of them, they ended so quickly because their pace was a little bit too slow and they have way too many episodes. I never really like an anime that has a whole bunch of episodes if it's too slow. Nobody's watching that, honestly. For all you anime makers and animationers out there in the world, if your anime is too slow and you have a lot of episodes, you may not make it. Let's just be honest. But with this show, Your Lie in April, it's a good pace. Of course, your typical 13-episode anime show, and it's very straight-based and makes people want to enjoy this show. Now, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the Lucas Chat Podcast Season 4 with your host Kennedy Lucas and Tairus Lester. Now, please be sure to check out later in the week. Of course, we're going to be doing a Lucas Chat Podcast over Captain America Civil War with just me, Kennedy Lucas, and James Meyers will be on the show. Of course, if you guys seen the intro, you guys seen that this Lucas Chat Podcast is now run by 3 people. two people each are going to run different things. Tairus will do the video games and anime. Of course, I will do the anime and movies alongside with James Meyers. So we're looking very forward into doing that podcast. I look most excited for that one because Captain America, I went to go see it on my birthday. Just now turned 20 and went to go see it on my birthday. And I love it. So Tairus, close us out, if you will.
All right, Kennedy. Now we're ending up the Lucas Chat podcast with the best, Tairus Lester. Now, again, guys, please be sure to check out Your Light in April. Of course, we'll have the link description below if you go to the K.L.P network. Again, K.L.P network, and you type in the anime tab, it directs you right to ryuanime.com or ryuanime.io. They recently just changed their domain name, so it's IO now. I wonder why they did that. I don't really know, but one of our partnerships here, click on that. Directs you to ryuanime.io. Of course, you look at Your Lie in April. It's a very good anime to look into. You guys would not be disappointed with this kind of anime. It's fantastic. I love it. So please be sure to check it out. Very, very, very excited to have a lot of people check that kind of show out. Now, please be sure to check out the K.L.P Photography and the live website. I am the executive for that website. Of course, we got K.L.P Photography partnership up with that as well. So please be sure to check that out. This has been the Lucas Chat podcast with Kennedy Lucas and Tairus Lester. As Kennedy would say, we're logging out.